Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19. For those of you who've seen the stream, you'll know that we have got lots of chicken pens here. We did a lot of work. We found large granite lumps everywhere, and yeah, lots of things happened. For those of you who haven't seen the stream, just a quick recap. Basically, we've got chicken pens in, we found large granite lumps everywhere, and lots of things happened. So, yeah. What I've done here is we've got this field has sort of had a little piece nibbled off the edge of it, and I did that quite deliberately. We managed to get some large chicken pens in here, and what I did was I painted this sort of lump that we had here with stone using the terrain editor thing. And then after I'd done that, I was able to put the chicken pens down, and we were actually able to start removing some of this. So it looks like whatever was blocking us from doing stuff on this one has now disappeared, which did take me by surprise. That one up there is one that was left. That one was not able to have anything done to it, so we've colored that one in stone. We've got a large lump of granite that's here, and we're not able to do anything with it. We've got a large lump of granite there, and we've got another one over there. Now, that is actually quite realistic. I've worked on a number of farms that regularly turn up large lumps of granite that you can't do anything with, and I sort of feel that does fit in well with our aim to be reasonably realistic. I say reasonably. Now, I realize it's not fully realistic, but it does fit in fairly well. So I'm quite happy with that. We've got our lorry over here. This one has got 2 trailers on it. These there's mods in the description down below. The only problem with these is that when the back door opens, it does get hung up on the trailer behind it. We need a longer dolly for this to work, or for the trailer to be repositioned, one or the other. Yeah, overall, it's not really too bad. It is good. And these trailers have got extensions, so they take 85,000 litres each. Unfortunately, once again, it's not a visual extension, which means that it looks exactly the same as the 59,000 litre standard game one. Now, I did in FS17 have a cramper trailer that actually had taller sides on it and a bigger capacity, and that I thought worked really well. So I am on the lookout for a slightly more realistic road train mod, but at the moment this one serves well. I quite like it. I got no problems with it. The truck itself is a mod as well. There's a link in the description down below. It's actually got a pack. It's got the dolly, it's got the trailer, and it's got the truck. It's got all 3 of these bad boys in it together, because the truck has had an upgraded engine. It's got 1,000 horsepower under the hood, and it works really well. It pulls the 2 trailers, and we had a lot of fun with that in the stream. We've got this one over here ready to go in to cut down some of the trees in there, although we're going to do some wood chips first. We're going to do a bit more of that. And then we've got our Brux chipper over here. Now, this one did really well, but we've cut down all the trees on our land we bought. Now, I apologize for those of you who actually seen the stream, but the stream is 2 hours long, so it may not be to everybody's taste. And I know that not everybody likes live streams, so I'm just doing as quick a recap as I can. We cut down most of the trees up round there. There's a few small pine trees that are left up round the edge, and I'll go and just gather those up first. But we've essentially cleared all of that area now of trees. There's no trees left there. We've got a patch of trees over here that we can go and harvest. This piece of land we managed to buy, and we've cleared all of the trees off of that piece of land. We weren't able to buy this one because it's $200,000, and we've only got $36,000. We did get quite a chunk of money. However, buying those chickens down there ended up costing us quite a pretty penny. Partly because we did do a lot of landscaping first. Now, I did have the Place Anywhere mod, and I took a look at that one, and I thought, you know, this is really good, but it does alter the cost of doing the landscaping stuff by a considerable margin, and I actually quite like the prices on the landscaping mod as they are. I personally prefer them to be fairly high because it makes you think a lot more about what you're going to do. Because in real life, if you're farming, if you were to go and you were to do a load of landscaping, there would be those kinds of costs involved. Or at least where I live in the UK, if you want to move earth around on your farm, it costs money. Even if you are just moving it from one location to another on your own farm, it still costs a fair packet of money to be able to do it, because you've got to pay for your, even if it's just your own labour, running the machinery, that sort of thing. If you're moving the soil off of your own land, then it incurs some considerable costs. So I don't feel that it was unrealistic in any way by doing that. The only thing that I do want to do is I want to bring this over here, and I just want to level this here out a little bit more. I want to smooth this off just a bit, like that, so that we can drive round on it a bit more. And I'm going to keep an eye on the cost of this. I'm going to increase the radius just a little bit, and I'm also going to increase the brush strength. So to do that, we go left control, and then E increases that. I'm going to go up to 0.5 on that one, and there, it's a lot better. The pressing the middle mouse button to do this is the option that I'm using to do this bit, and it does, it's quite a slow process, this particular sort of leveling bit. So having the brush strength go higher just for this bit does make a lot of sense. So just bring that over there so that we can easily get down in behind here. Because what we might do is we might decide to put a barn in here or something like that. I can't go up too close to the chicken pen up there. But, I mean, we've already done most of this. I didn't do, it was right near the end of the stream, so I didn't want to do the bit at the back of the pens up here, but I do want to get those done, just to level this off a bit so that we can drive around here without it being too rough. Because obviously if you were building this kind of thing and you were doing this in real life, you wouldn't leave it all rough like that. You would level it off a bit. Having this bit down here, I don't think this is unrealistic at all, because it is runoff. So you've got somewhere, you haven't got the water pooling in where the chickens are. The water is going to pool back here a bit more, and you'd probably turn that into a better drain and have some sort of drainage system built in around here as well. Anyway, so you got several hundred chickens there. You would have to be careful about excrement runoff from the chickens, so you'd probably have some sort of filter system in here. And then the water, you'd have a drainage system that would drain the water. Almost certainly your drainage system here would just kind of be a load of drains that would have a big soak away. So it would all soak away into the ground, and you wouldn't really have any trouble with it. At least that's what I would imagine it being. You can have a soak away like that, and that works really well. Yeah, let's just level that out a little bit over this side there. So we haven't got, you don't want, on that kind of height, you don't want the banks too steep because there is a danger of them crumbling. So you would actually bring you'd make the bank not quite so steep. You'd level it out a bit more so there's less chance of it giving way. You know, if it rained a lot, that's one thing here in the UK is especially where I'm from, is everything you do, you've got to look at from, you normally do this kind of stuff in the dry. When the ground has dried out, you've had a decent bit of dry weather for a few weeks, and, you know, everything's tickety-boo and looks wonderful. But what you've got to do is you've also got to keep in mind that it's going to rain continuously for months at a time, because that's what we have. We have, where I live, months and months of rain without let-up. It just goes continuously for many, many months and doesn't stop. We've had a remarkable dry spell for about 3 weeks around here, and it's made a huge difference. It really has. We're just going to bring that around, and we're going to level that out. We will do a bit more digging off of here, so I'm just sort of removing that. This track is no longer going to be used. In order to be able to access that, we have to come along the top track up there. This one is not really an accessible track anymore, so that's why I'm busy erasing it here. The only real thing that we want to do is make sure that we can access our chicken feed area down here. So we're not going to need to be able to get behind the chicken pens here very much. Mostly we're going to want to be getting in front of them over this side. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to Right, I do have a tree trunk. It was one of those red trees. It was around here somewhere. It also doesn't help that we got the chicken pen right there. That does actually stop you from being able to work very well. So sometimes being close to it, that does affect it as well. But it's the kind of the redwood trees. Those give us more problem than most of the others. So if I do it like that, and then blend in between the two, there. That's a much better space. I can now get there a little bit better with a trailer. Just blend that one back as well. Push those in between. And try and smooth that out a bit over there. That's better. That would be a lot more like it. So smooth that off up there like that. Blend that in. There. Right. That's most of it done now. I don't think we're going to need to do anything different. The only thing that I want to do now, we're down to $21,000. The only thing I want to do now is I want to reduce that radius a little bit. Actually, I think we could go up by maybe one. We'll go there. Press X to change the landscaping mode, and then you tab to go through the different types of ground. So we've got that one there, which is... Hang on. Let's bring that round. I think that is actually the same. Yeah, that's the same texture there as we've already got. So I want to just kind of bring that down here and bring it out like that. Near the chicken pens. There. Spread it out a bit like that. And I would say, really, we want to do it around this whole... Actually, yeah, around this whole area. I'm not going to concrete this, because that would be quite an expensive thing to do, to go and concrete it. But if I do it like that, we've got quite a bit of space there. And then we want access to the eggs and also delivering the chickens as well. So it would be kind of... Well, actually, it would be more like that, wouldn't it? Yeah. And then... So I'll leave it like there. I reckon like that. And then over this side, we want a piece out like that. There. And I'll come round like that. So we've got a bit of grass there. And then this bit out the front. Like that. And then if I press tab again, I go through a couple of them. It's this one right here. This is the one that I want. And I do that. What we're doing now is we've got the kind of the patchy ground. And I quite like this because it allows us to define the edge of our track down here. And then you've got the bits here that we wouldn't be using quite so often. They can be filled in a bit. But we've also got the slightly cleaner ground going up to there. So again, I'm going to just define the edges of the track where maybe we wouldn't be driving quite so much. And then, like, you've got these bits over here and the turning area here where you might use it sometimes but not necessarily all the time, and a bit more there like that, maybe over here, and it kind of gives it a more natural look. I think it kind of makes it look a little bit more natural, as though it's been built into the area, especially with our big granite heap up there. So that's that bit done. Next up, let me get rid of that. Next up, we need to actually buy the chickens. So we've got in here, now we go to this one and we go to the animals right here. It just says chicken coop. It doesn't give us the other chicken coop. Oh, the groom mod. I completely forgot about the groom mod. I am going to get that groom mod, and we're going to be paying a groom to ride our horses, which means that we'll get more horses going in the game as well. We've got a good 90-odd names now on the named Frithgardians list. So I was originally doing a random number generator to pick out the names for things, but a lot of people were getting missed and a lot of people were getting 2 or 3 times. But that was back when we only had like 20 or 30 names. Now that we've got pushing 100 people on here, I think a random number generator might work better. So I might end up going back to the random number generator rather than just taking it in turns with people. I'm not sure at the moment. Still thinking that taking it in turns is a better thing, because everybody does get a shot. Everybody does end up getting in on the list. So we're going to go here. Actually, first of all, I just want to have a look over here and just double check one thing. Not you. No, this is the one that I want to look at. And we've got black chickens, haven't we? Yes, we've got black chickens here. Now, I'm curious. Here in the UK, the most common laying chicken, there's actually two. You'll often see a white feathered laying chicken, and then the other most common one is a brown. It's just a layer. They're just generally referred to as layers, and they're brown. It's very rare that you'll see black chickens that are laying hens. So we've got some black chickens here, and I'm going to keep those, but I'm thinking that the first pen we go for, over here, this is the nearest vehicle, I think. I think we'll go brown chickens on this one to start with. And then the other one over there, we'll go for white chickens. But I don't know about going back to the black ones. It does depend. In the rest of the world, what colour are your laying hens normally? Because if the black ones are... You know, if it's very unusual to have black hens, we'll just stick with that one small pen of them over there, and we'll go with browns and whites. I'm not going to mix them in the same pen. Hang on. I was looking for the right button to press. It's this one. So we'll go... Yeah, I don't know about the blacks. I've not really seen many black laying hens. It's brown laying hens that I see normally, but you do get the whites as well. So we'll go with these. And what have I got to do? I've got to press enter to get one. I think you can get up to 400 chickens in this pen. Let me just go and check a second on here. That one there takes up to 100. This one, 400 chickens. So I reckon 300 chickens. We go to 3/4 capacity. 300 chickens, and then we stay there until they get up to 400 chickens, and then we sell 100, and we keep doing that. And we'll do that on all of our chicken pens. That's kind of how we'll run them. So I need to press R on here, and I need to go to the brown chicken. So what I got to do is got to move them across. I'm not going to get a rooster to go with these. These are just going to be laying hens, and we'll just assume that the ones from across the way are what are providing us with extra chickens. So total at the moment, these are $50 to buy. That makes 10, 20, that's 30. Hang on a minute. So how many's 100 chickens is going... Wow, okay, this is one thing that I don't like about this. I thought that they would have had a slider bar. I really did. I genuinely thought by this point we'd have a slider bar. In the last way of doing it, where you just scrolled your animals in, that was a big improvement. So I'm not a fan of this at all. I'm really not. So I've got a third of what we're getting. I've got to get some more yet. $10,000 is actually $13,000 because you got the fee for moving them. That makes 200 chickens right in here. So we confirm that there. We've got 200 chickens in there. That leaves us with $4,000 left over. But we've got 200 chickens in this one. Cleanliness is not anything at the moment, and then we're going to want some food. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the wood chips down over here because we don't want to be messing around with doing the other. But we've got $4,000 left. I don't think I can take out any more loan, which means that we're going to have to just stick... Oh, I can. I can take another 5,000. It's because we've gone and bought chickens, isn't it? So I'll do that. I'll just borrow another 10 grand, and I'll get 200 chickens on this pen as well. This time we're going for whites. There we go. We've got another $10,000 worth of white chickens right there. Confirm. Oh yeah, they are white. It's just the sun on them. That was all. So there's another $13,000 spent there. And yeah, we're only starting off with 200 chickens in each, and we'll let them build up all the way up to 400, but then we'll sell 100 at... Actually, I might only sell 50 at a time, because I think to spam the enter button on it so often is a little bit tedious, and I don't really want to have to keep doing that all the time, so we might just make it a little bit easier and do that less. So there is our chickens. Next up, I want to go straight to this one right here, and I want to get some wood chips. We'll get these wood chips, and then we'll take them down and we'll put them in the tractor trailer. But what I'm going to actually chip up is these small trees over here. It's not really worth bothering with the Ponzi Scorpion on these little ones, so we may as well just do it with the Bruks wood chipper instead. Quickly get them out the way, and then we haven't got to worry about them. So I'll start that one up, bring that in like that, and remove the stump as well. There are other stumps in here from when we used the Ponzi Scorpion, which naturally are going to... Ooh, something's chipping there. Yeah, the other ones that are around here, they'll show up if and when we decide to come up here with the plows. I can see a few of them, so we'll just go over a couple of these, chip them all up, remove these stumps. For the most part, we'll be able to go straight into this field with the plow if we want to. And I'm thinking that we probably will. We'll probably just come straight through this, bring a plow in here, and add it to the grass field so that we've got a slightly bigger grass field down here. It's not something we're going to worry about today, though. We're not going to worry about that today. It's not something we're going to worry about in the immediate future. We've got other things that we want to do first. Namely, I want to keep working with those chickens. We've got the 2 chicken pens down there. The rest of that hillside, I'm probably not going to do all that much to get rid of the hillside. We might be able to put more chickens further up now. Might better spread our chickens out a bit, and then we'll build tracks going up to them, rather than removing the entire hillside. I think that might actually be a better approach to it, and it'd be slightly more realistic as well. So we don't want to remove the entire hillside, because that is a huge amount of work that we'd have to do in order to do that successfully. Now, are you going to cut through that or not? Looks like it's a not. That's not actually cutting. That's the stump grinder working underneath. If I can bring that back a bit, I'm going to have to lift that one up. There. Bring that in there. Like that. There, right. Well, I've at least got the tree, and we've chipped that one up. So then I can move forward like this, and we can start removing all of that. Bring you down like that. There. Absolutely beautiful. And then we can come up on round here and we can get the next one. So we've got 5,000 litres of wood chips. And that's... Well, now we've got 7,500. We've got a couple more trees here yet. That, I think, is going to be plenty of wood chips for doing what we want to do. We'll take this wood chipper off in a minute. And we'll get the... There we go. We'll get the front loader on. We'll tip a little pile of them out up there by where the chicken pens are, so that we can spread the wood chips around and use them exactly the same as we did with the sheep and with the small pens down here. And then we've got all of the pens, so that we haven't... It's just so that we don't have to worry about cleaning the pens. It's going to make it a lot easier if we haven't got to worry about cleaning the pens. Can we chip that one up? We can. That adds in wood chips. That's brilliant. Go out here. What do we got? We've got this little tiny one over here. Oh, hang on. There was something else there. Oh, that's one of the stumps that's in the game. Like, one of the ones that's just put onto the map as a stump. I quite like those. It's quite cool that you've got those kicking around. It'd be interesting to see if in Boulder Canyon, when we start that one, I haven't actually looked that closely. It'd be interesting to see if there's any bits like that lying around on the base of the map. We'll have to, we'll look at that, we'll see. It might be a little source of income for us at the beginning there when we're trying to get set up. Right, that one I'm going to have to lift up. There. Then we come in over the top. Clean that one. The stump grinder bit on this is so much improved over the stump grinder previously. Right, the chainsaw bit, especially on the particularly rough ground, we're still having trouble with. Right, you do still have trouble getting the chainsaw bit lined up, but the actual stump grinder part now is pretty much flawless. It's properly taking out those tree stumps, and we've not really got any trouble with them at all. The only thing that I did have trouble with, as you noticed, was the those sort of redwoods, that, you know, the deciduous trees, the biggest redwood ones. They seem to be the ones that cause me the most problems. They also seem to be the ones that leave stumps behind. We have had one or two others leave stumps behind, but nothing like those. Those seem to be the biggest issues on the map. And I'm hoping that it is indeed just this map, because they did say that we may have trouble with some of the trees because we started this particular save before 1.2 came out. Most of the issues should only be with trees that were cut down before we updated to 1.2, but there is still a few kicking around that are causing trouble afterwards. There's not a lot that we can do about that, so we won't worry about it too much. We'll carry on doing what we're doing. We'll just get that one there. 17,000 litres of wood chips. That should be more than enough. Right, let's lift you up. Oh no, I've still got some grinding to do. That's unusual. It normally grabs all of it. Right. There. We'll go about that point there, I think. There we go. That got it that time. That's better. Okay. I'll bring this one down. I'll switch that one off. And we're going to drop it into the trailer down here. So that will auto unload straight into that trailer. Yeah, like that. It does it very fast. It blows it out really fast. It's almost instant, the speed that it blows the thing out. And then I'll bring this one over here. We can just fold the Brux chipper up. Like that. And I will also fold down the spout. Like that. Lower you down. And we'll unhitch you. So then we want to go and get the front loader with the bucket on. Because we're going to need that to go in front of where the chickens are. Then we've got... How much have we got in storage? At the moment we've got 23,000 litres of wheat. We don't have any barley. So I'm hoping that's going to be enough to feed the chickens. It may not be. It may not be. I was just thinking, though, you know, with the cleanliness thing, right? We can't... The cleanliness, it always dumps stuff out in front of the pens. And then you pick it up and you put it back in for the animals. Does that food that gets put in front of the trough, that doesn't actually, or it didn't used to in FS17, because you'd get that when you didn't have any food in for the animals, or not very much food, at least. I don't know if you did it, if you actually had it when there was no food at all. But anyway, no, my point is, does that food that is spilled in front of the trough, is that like extra food that is being generated that you then pick up and put back in? Like, is the game generating you additional feed, or is it just taking it out of the quantity that's already been put in there? Interesting little note there that I was thinking about the other day, and I've not actually had a look or had a chance to research it or anything like that. So I don't know if by covering this up and not doing any cleaning with our chickens, or with any of the animals, I don't know if we're actually using our food up ever so slightly faster by doing it like this. We might be. We might actually be penalising ourselves ever so slightly by doing this. I'm going to bring this one over here where it's fairly level. Just make it easier to pick up the wood chips. And I'm going to tip that one up. So I've got 17,000 in there. There, we'll stop there. So there's about 5,000 litres on the ground. That's a good quantity. And we'll bring this one round. Somebody sent me a list. It was a link to a Reddit post where they had figured out exactly on, I think it was actually on, whether it was all done on normal or all done on, yeah, I think it was all done on normal mode. Cost per acre of spreading lime, of spreading fertilizer, spreading herbicides, and everything like that. But also then a yield per acre and profit per acre for all of the different crops. There's nothing about animals in it, but it was a very, very detailed post about all of the crops. It was absolutely brilliant. I read through it all, and as most of us suspect, The things like wheat and stuff like that are actually midline profitable. If you want to make a fair bit of money early on, it's probably best to go for canola and soybeans, purely because, not that they're more profitable, it's just that there's less work involved with harvesting and selling because you've got fewer trips. But they're all, if you include the cost of straw, they are fairly sort of comparable. All the oats, the wheat, the barley, all of it. It's fairly close in costs all the way through. One thing that the person did say was that he thought that the straw was excessive, and he didn't see how that much straw could be realistic, because it's so much more straw than you get. You get so much more straw than you do wheat. But that was purely his comments there. He did correct it afterwards, and he said no, apparently it is the right amount. He's not a farmer. He doesn't have any farming background, so his only experience with agriculture is what he's learned in this game. And that's something that I actually love about this game, is teaching people about agriculture all around the world that would otherwise never get to experience it. And he was genuinely surprised at the amount of straw you get compared to the amount of wheat or barley that you do get off of the fields as well. They did nerf the quantity of straw that you get anyway in 1.2. But yeah, you do still get a decent amount of straw, and it is fairly realistic. But he looked at those prices. He looked at everything down through. Potatoes, sugar beet, sugar cane, and cotton are the most profitable ones to do. And it does kind of fit, because they're also the ones that require the heaviest investment in order to be able to get into. Sugarcane is probably the single most profitable crop to do per acre, although, as he pointed out, it's also incredibly boring doing sugarcane because of the massive amount of work that is required. And he only did a small test of it, but he got thoroughly bored with doing sugarcane by the end of it, and did not have any intentions of ever doing that again. So yeah, it's a lot of work to do sugar beet, sugarcane, potatoes, that sort of thing. Cotton is slightly less profitable than those three, but it's still very profitable, and that does kind of fit. They did change the prices ever so slightly for cotton. I don't think they affected the yields, but they did change the prices. It's definitely worth getting into cotton. You've got a huge initial outlay, so it is expensive to start off with, but on the other hand, you do make a very nice amount of money. And the good thing about cotton compared to potatoes and sugar beet is potatoes and sugar beet and sugar cane per acre, you've got a massive amount of work because of the huge volume of material that you've got to move away, whereas you don't have that with cotton. Cotton, you just take your harvester into the field and you get going, and off a very big field you may only have 3 or 4 bales. It's fairly easy to move those 3 or 4 bales. You've got a specialist trailer. You can get a bigger specialist trailer to do it with if you want to. You can get one that goes onto a lorry, a truck, and so you can move your cotton out like that, and it's worth doing. You can make a vast sum of money out of doing cotton, and there's very little work actually involved. Now, I'm hoping that those 2 lots of wood chips there and over on the other pen are going to be absolutely spot on perfect for this. We are going to have no food being spread anywhere. I don't know if that needs to be a little bit closer. I don't know. I'm hoping it's going to be alright. So we'll go back over here, we'll pick up the rest of these wood chips and quickly dump them into that trailer. We'll keep this trailer load of wood chips. Actually, no. That's not going to do us any good, is it? I actually want that trailer to move the grain into the chickens. I'm going to need that. But it's how I get this. I mean, what I could do is I could tip all of that out on the ground and then we could load up these wood chips into one of the lorry trailers over there. My only issue with doing that is it's going to take absolutely ages. That's the only real reason that I don't want to do it. It's going to take ages. Okay, that's a tough one. Now what do we do? I could always just use the lorry trailer there to do the chicken feed, but that's cheating. I don't want to do that. That doesn't feel right. So let me just hook that one on there. I've got 13. It's going to be 13 bucket loads, 14 bucket loads actually, to get this into one of those tall trailers over there. So we'll do it. We will do it, but we're gonna set this up over here so it's a little bit out of the way, and we're not going to spend our entire time just working on that. I'll drop that one there. Well, not drop the trailer. I'll drop the wood chips here, like that, in a great big heap. There. And then I can go and use the trailer. We're gonna get started on planting some more stuff in this field. We've got a load of weeds in here at the moment. I'm not going to worry about the weeds. I'm going to ignore them completely. So I'm just going to pick up a bucket full of wood chips here. This is just going to be something that I will do periodically, rather than doing all 14 bucketfuls all at once. Every now and then I'll grab a bucketful, we'll run it up through here, and then we can dump it into the trailer. I'll probably be using these trailers very shortly anyway for getting more wood chips going. I'll just tip you in there. Like that. And then I can go over around this way and we can get that the wheat. We get the wheat loaded up. Now, because we've got a load more chickens, I'm going to want more wheat. And I'm thinking that I'm actually going to do wheat across the board. I'm thinking that we go for wheat in this little field right here. I'm not planning to do anything more on this side of the field anytime soon. And then I've got all of that field over there that we could go and plant as well. I will be getting rid of some of the stuff around the edges. But I'm not going to plant it just yet. I have a different plan. And so what we do is we bring the trailer over here like this. Then we back it in round that corner. Right up to where those chickens are. Like that. Bring you up. Right up that slope. We've got quite a heavy trailer on here. So I got 24,000. So I don't want to unload any more than 12,000 litres of wheat into here. So that we got about half and half. So I go 14. Oh, okay. That's completely full. Right. But that's okay. That means that we use a little bit less than I thought we'd be using. And then I'll come over and we'll do the same on this one over here as well. And that's going to be our chickens, all very happy. They should start reproducing at a fair rate. Plus, we'll also get all of the eggs. And the next thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to test the chickens over... Well, we're going to run the game overnight. It's going to be about the last thing that we do in today's episode. So we'll dump that lot in there. Should be another 12,000 litres to go in. Yes. That's perfect. Right. I'm going to leave this one right here. I'm going to move it from here. We're just going to stop there. That one's going to stop there. And then we're going to go, ignoring that lot, we're going to come over here. Yeah, let's just go to here. Let's speed... Actually, I don't think I need to speed time up. Not at the moment. Our horses. That was the last thing I wanted to do. So there. Productivity 20% at the moment. That's completely full. Why? Oh, it's 20% is because I didn't have any food at the time. But now I do, so it's fine. Water cleanliness is fine. Water and everything is fine on there. And then down here with our horses, they've got everything they need. We've just got this one here that could do with a little bit of riding before we go and skip the night. I'd like to take him up to full. I will, if I remember, get this groom mod. I do want to get that one. A lot of people said in a stream I should definitely get it because it would be unusual for a farmer to be riding the horses himself. He'd be paying someone else to do it, especially if he's keeping several horses. So I should definitely have the groom mod. I'm paying $300 per day per horse for him to do this. And essentially, it's kind of like the greenhouses of the game. They haven't got greenhouses anymore. We do have solar panels, and I am considering putting some solar panels down. But essentially what we've got now is this is the new type of greenhouse. We have the horses instead. And instead of like loading up the greenhouses, we've now got the horses we've got to take out and exercise, but you can have them done automatically. I do miss the greenhouses. I liked the greenhouses, and I thought they were quite cool, and I was very disappointed not to see them in the game. I was actually expecting to see some slight improvements on the greenhouses, maybe some additional crops, maybe some way of like automating them a little bit better, upgrading to going bigger greenhouses. I felt that I do feel that they kind of missed a little bit of a trick on the greenhouses now, by removing them completely. So I, for one, was a little bit disappointed to see them go. I'm hoping that there will be several decent greenhouse mods that will be added later on, and we'll be able to use those instead. We'll just have to wait and see on that. Right, let's just have a look down here. On 89%, we should be almost 100% by the time I get back round to the horse pen, so we can drop this one in, and then we will skip the night. We're soon going to be ready to sell our first horse, and we're going to make an obscene amount of profit. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be wanting to buy a new horse every day, and sell a horse every day. That's kind of what I'd like, is I'd like to be able to sort of process them through. But I think in this pen, you can't have 10 horses. So we're going to need an additional pen in order to be able to have our horses. 19, right, that's 100% riding. If I just take him on round here, get him back into that pen. There, jump over the fence, and off you chop. Good to you. Brush him down, and she's brushed down as well. We're done. Right, Tech Lime and Tyree are back there in their stable. So I will just come up here, and I should... Yes, there we go. Right, so it's 7 o'clock in the evening. We're going to go for, you know, if I had just gone the other way, like this, I could have gone like that. 14. It's going to take us through till 8 o'clock in the morning. We will go for 13 hours sleep. So we'll sleep for 13 hours like that. We've got 2,000 in loan interest, 11,500 in vehicle leasing, 500 in property maintenance. So we're now minus $13,000, and it's gotten quite cloudy. That's the word I'm looking for, cloudy. Right, cleanliness is 100% for those. Cleanliness is 100% for those. We've gained 10 chickens overnight. We're gaining 1 chicken every hour and 15 minutes in that lot. This one over here is every 3 hours and 45 minutes to gain a new animal. So that's a little bit slower, but we're up to 64 on here now. So those are increasing at a fairly steady rate. Here we got 53 litres on it. We'll see what they've done just overnight. Tech Lime is now worth $27,000, and Tyree is 79% and worth $40,000. So he's doing pretty well on there. Now, why are these chickens at 99%? Is it because of cleanliness, or because the food is starting to lower down a bit? I'm not entirely sure on that. Let's go and have a look at the sheep a second and just see how much wool they've got kicking around outside their pens. We're going to need to move those. The eggs, I'm planning something slightly different with the eggs. Wool, we're going to have to move the wool pallets as well. It was 2,000 litres a pallet for the wool. I was trying to remember previously how much we were spending on wool, and it was 2,000 litres. Not how much storage we had. It was 2,000 litres per pallet. So let's go and have a look over here. We've got 2 boxes of eggs on one overnight from the 200 chickens. We've only got 200 chickens in here, so we've got, well, it's a box and a half, I think. Same with this one over here. That one's got much the same. And it appears that the boxes spawn on a set angle, not necessarily lined up with the pen itself. That's interesting to note. So it'll be interesting to see what this angled pen here ends up with those boxes over time. But we'll worry about that later. Anyway, that is all we've got time for right now. For the actual egg pallets and stuff, I don't want to use that one. What I would like to do is I would like to eventually get ourselves a skid steer loader. I think one of these would be perfect for it. So we'll probably go with that bad boy right there at $35,000. That would be about perfect for it. It's very, very easy to handle pallets with a little skid steer. So we'll probably end up using one of those to be able to handle the egg pallets. But yeah, that's maybe in our next episode we can start taking a look at that. But we're minus 13 grand now, so the first thing that we're going to need to do is get money. We desperately need money, so we'll probably be doing a little bit of timber work in our next episode. Anyway, until then, if you've enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.